This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
More than 200 Indian fishermen have fallen to Sri Lankan bullets in the last 3 decades. And that is what is dominating the headlines now on Ndtv-Hindu this evening as well. Another fisherman is killed in the murky waters, and this is one of the most gruesome attacks reported. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister wants the guilty to be punished. The Finance Minister says there is no justification for this. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan Navy has declined all these allegations and says that these are baseless. So what is the truth, and when will these attacks stop? These are questions up in mid-air. That is the big story we are tracking this evening. Good evening, I'm Divya. Let's go straight to the headlines now. 2 Indian fishermen killed in mid-sea in the last 10 days. Top leaders condemn the attacks. But the Lankan authorities go on the defensive. The Lankan Navy says all allegations of killings are baseless. This even as the Finance Minister talks tough on the gruesome killings, Pranab promises to take up the issue with Sri Lanka.
There is no point in justification for shooting at the people.
Ndtv-Hindu has exclusive access to an FIR filed in 2008 that holds the Lankan Navy responsible for the death of 300 fishermen. Postmortem of the 2-year-old who died this morning is complete. Parents suspect polio drops administered could be the cause, but the health secretary denies it. Asan says she respected Tamil sentiments to skip IFA but cannot take a call on where and where not to film in this exclusive chat.
We just comply by what the makers of the film ask us to do, as in terms of we have no say, especially a lead actress.
2020 is now the name of the cricket game. The glamorous format is now a stepping stone to the big league. Let's also bring you the news making national headlines. The BJP accuses the government of a disproportionate panic reaction in stopping its controversial flag hoisting march to Srinagar. Yediyurappa is in Delhi to formulate a political and legal strategy to counter corruption allegations against him. The CPM refuses to support the CPI, which has backed off on the demand for a JPC on the 2G scam. The Bishnoi community shows black flags to Salman Khan during a marathon in Jaipur. And India's top order collapse in the series decided against South Africa. Well, the big story tonight, another fisherman dead. And once again, fingers are being pointed towards the Sri Lankan Navy. Let me remind you now that this is the 3rd attack on Indian fishermen in just this 1 month, and the 2nd death in just 10 days. Last night's incident is one of the most gruesome killings ever reported. Jay Kumar along with 3 other fishermen were reportedly intercepted by the Lankan Navy while they were fishing and were asked to jump into the sea. The deceased Jay Kumar had past horrors haunting him even as he was brutally murdered mid-sea. A tsunami survivor, Jay Kumar, perhaps frozen by the memories of that tsunami, was unable to move, and he and the other fishermen on the boat were asked to jump into the sea. Jay Kumar did not jump as instructed, and sources from the fishery department say he was strangulated, A nylon rope was tied around his neck and he was dragged around by these men till he died.
ஜெயக்குமார் செந்தில் நான் ராஜேந்திரன் 3 பேரும் தொழிலுக்கு போயிருந்தோம். தொழிலுக்கு போய் சனிக்கிழமை நைட்டு 11 மணிக்கு வலை பற்றிட்டு போகிறோம். சிலவு நேரக்காரங்க வந்து பிடிச்சி எங்களை தண்ணியில் பாய சொன்னாங்க. தண்ணியில் நாங்கள் ஜெயக்குமார் செந்தில் நான் ராஜேந்திரன் நல்ல பாய்ஞ்சிட்டோம். ஜெயக்குமார் தண்ணியில் பாயலை. ரொம்ப நேரம் பாயாததுனால அவங்க நேரக்காரங்களை இறங்கி வந்து எங்கள் போட்டில் உள்ள கைத்தை எடுத்து சுருக்க மாட்டி தண்ணியில் போட்டு இழுத்து ஒரு சுற்றிட்டு வந்து எங்கள்ட்ட அந்த கைத்தை ஒன்று கொடுத்தாங்க. அதை நான் பற்றி பார்க்கறதால
So is the Navy behind yet another attack on Indian fishermen? What is the truth and when will these attacks stop? That is the big question today. And the Sri Lankan Navy is of course denying all allegations. They say that the allegations are baseless and without proof. This even as the Chief Minister has written to the centre asking them to punish the guilty, and he has announced rupees 5 lakh as compensation to the family of this victim. But is that enough? Here is the Finance Minister promising action against those guilty of this terrible, terrible crime.
Essentially, in relation to the killing of Tamil Nadu fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy, I am told that in the last 10 days, 2 persons have been killed. Naturally, Chief Minister is very much worried and anxious over these developments. We are having good relations with Sri Lanka. We are helping them, and there is no point and justification for shooting at the people. If they have done something wrong, they should have been arrested and handed over, as there is the due procedure of resolving these issues. So I assured the Chief Minister that I will take it up through Foreign Ministry with the Sri Lankan authorities so that this is not being repeated.
Well, if it's 2 fishermen killed in 10 days, then this is an even more shocking number. More than 200 fishermen have died in these murky waters just in the past few years, and Ndtv-Hindu has exclusive access of the first information report, the FIR, filed in 2008, clearly blaming the Sri Lankan Navy for the deaths of these fishermen. Well, the visuals that are coming up on your screen is of that FIR that indicates the Lankan Navy as one of the accused in the killings. These fishermen belong to districts like Nagapattinam, Vedaranyam and Rameshwaram. Immediately after every incident, the state police has registered FIRs and murder charges against the Sri Lankan Navy, but till date no arrest or action has been taken. And fear and anger, of course, has gripped people after these killings. Today, 25 Tamil activists were arrested for protesting at the Congress headquarters in Satyamurthy Bhavan against the killing of these Indian fishermen. Activists are demanding for immediate action to be taken to stop these killings.
தமிழக மீனவர்கள் சுடப்படும் பொழுது இவர்கள் எல்லாம் அமைதி காப்பது ஏன்? இதுவரை மத்திய அரசு கொடுத்த அந்த உறுதிக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம்?
And our question is that why this is repeatedly happening. If fisherman is doing a mistake, he can be prosecuted. But why he is being murdered?
And moving on to some other news now, well, what started as a routine health drive proved to be quite fateful for this family. It was the last day that a 2-year-old boy slept on his mother's lap. This child died this morning 2 hours after he was administered with the polio drops. The post-mortem is complete now and the report is expected in 2 days. The infant's parents suspect the polio vaccine given to their child this morning could be the cause, but the health secretary has denied these allegations to Ndtv-Hindu. He says it's not the polio vaccine, but it's a possibility of aspiration. Hence, the child's post-mortem was videographed at the Krompet General Hospital today.
Ice cream சாப்பிட்டா 9 மணிக்கு சாப்பிட்டா 9 மணிக்கு சும்மா ஒரே ஒரு டீஸ்பூன் தான் சாப்பிட்டான். அதுக்கப்புறம் எனக்கு தான் எல்லாத்தையும் எனக்கு உட்காந்து ஊட்டி விட்டுட்டு அவன் ஒரே ஒரு டீஸ்பூன் மட்டும் எப்பவுமே ஐஸ்கிரீம் விரும்பி சாப்பிட்றான். ரெகுலராக சாப்பிட்ற ஐஸ்கிரீம் தான், டெய்லி கூட சாப்பிட்றான், ஒன்றுமே ஆகாது, சளி கூட பிடிக்காது. எல்லாருமே அதே கேட்பாங்க, டெய்லி சாப்பிட்றான் ஐஸ்கிரீம் சளி கூட பிடிக்கலையான்னு. அதனால சரின்னு ஐஸ்கிரீம் வாங்கி எனக்கு ஊட்டிட்டு இருந்தான். ஒரு வாய் சாப்பிட்டான், அளவுதான். அதுக்கப்புறம் விளையாடி ஐஸ்கிரீம் சாப்பிட்டு விளையாடிட்டு இருந்தான் மேலே மாடியில் 1 hour விளையாடிட்டு இருந்தான். கரெக்டாக 10:15க்கு பால்னு கேட்டான். சரி பால் கொடுத்து தூக்கம் வருது, தரக்கணெலாம் எடுத்து போட்டு கீழே பாய் அவனே பாயெல்லாம் எடுத்து தரக்கணம் எடுத்து போட்டு தூக்கம் வருதுன்னா சரி தூங்குனா சொல்லிட்டு பால் கொடுத்துட்டு புட்டி எடுத்து வச்சுட்டு கீழே வந்து துணி துவைச்சதான். அதுக்கப்புறம் எங்கள் அம்மா கத்தன போது தான் தெரியல, போய் பார்த்தேன் எப்படி செத்து போச்சு கிடக்குது.
And still ahead on headlines now, well, is it a yatra to hoist a flag or is it the walk to gain those political brownie points? Find out when we come back.